What's up, guys? Welcome back to Lovecraftian Gamer. Tonight we're going to be playing The Shore. I played it a long time ago. It's good. It's a good game. So I'm just going to kind of show some playthrough and kind of talk about the game and my experience and why I liked it. So let's just get into it. Come on.
Happy Halloween.
Oh, it's Happy Halloween again. Yeah, another Halloween episode. Happy Halloween. Alright, so The Shore, it has controller support. You guys know I like my controller if you've been watching, so I'm gonna play with my controller. And I'm just gonna start a new game here. The menu's different than it was when I played, so that's cool. And I did see there were actually a couple updates since I've played. Do I want to delete my progress and start a new game? Yes. So the game's pretty short, doesn't take too long to get through. It's a walking sim.
Ellie. My dear Ellie. I have to find her.
As you guys can tell, it looks pretty dang good. I'm getting a little bit of stutter. I do have it on like ultra settings while recording and processing some video, but let's go with it. All right.
We've been arguing with John about how many actual days have passed since we ended up here. It seems that all of our hopes are drifting away, like these bottles should do. They always return to the island as if something is leading them back here. If you are reading this, we need your help.
It didn't make it very far. Oh, this is new. Okay, this is a camera mode. That was cool. I don't know that I've ever seen this guy's face. That's what he looks like. Look at this bird. So,
French fry.
give him a French fry. So, I think I talked about this in the Dagon episode. But I feel like when we're oh, that said something. I think it just said interact, which was
A shred of hope. Oh, what a man needs to keep moving before he loses his sanity and his will. Walking along the shore reminded me of the walks I used to have with my wife.
So, while I think that if you're just into Lovecraftian games, you need games in all different genres. I think that's absolutely true. Would not contest that because we're gamers, right? But for the Lovecraft part of Lovecraftian gaming, I think the walkabout interactive story format is so good, and this game just perpetuates why it's so good. Not only do you not stand a chance against cosmic horrors in this game, you don't even you can't even try to stand a chance.
We armed ourselves and walked along the shore. To our surprise, we came across other ships that had wrecked without any trace of survivors. It was like a graveyard for ships. Our compass goes mad any time we try to set a course off the island. Our captain says it's because of the volcanic dust. We think he's gone mad. Sounds like the captain was right.
Yeah, so there is no like action in this game. Like there's nothing you can do. There's no combat or anything like that.
Speak of a fisherman who was lost in a stranded sea. He never came back. Now I know where he lies. What misfortunes could have drove him here?
So the genre just caters to that feeling so much, because when you encounter something in this that you perceive as a danger or
I have offered my
opportunity,
right arm and spoke the correct words in his absence. Only pain accompanies me towards my demise. I was forced to leave the lighthouse. There's something wrong in all of us. Only the slumbering God can save us now. What God is he talking about?
not only can you not do anything, I mean, when you have that danger that comes at you and you perceive a threat, you know you can't do anything. And that kind of caters to the horror of the whole thing. You know, your characters in most of your Lovecraftian stories, the realization that they're completely helpless is part of the primal fear that they have, because they can't do anything. They truly are helpless. And in a game like this, you also are truly helpless. There's no gun, there's no punch. You're just along for the ride. And it's a good ride. I mean, it looks good, it's immersive. There's lots of different paths to do.
Sunk our feet in the sand for the last time.
It's
asked me to
intriguing.
tell her one of my stories about the wild sea. I could hear each of her breaths being shorter and shorter. And by the time I finished my story, pneumonia took her life.
You guys hear that, right? You guys saw that, right? You saw that. And this is what I'm talking about, right? Look how pretty this is. Isn't that beautiful?
Your fault, Dad. Mom is now dead, and she will never come back.
Stop it! It's not my daughter's voice.
And I could genuinely stop here and say there's a lot more of that. Like, a lot of this game is just walking up to stuff and going, what the heck? And then you walk to another thing and what the heck? That Y button's interesting. It's going to like the collectibles menu, but it's an interactive menu. I was looking for a sprint. There we go. I thought there was a sprint. Did I find it or not? I can't tell. It's definitely not the left stick, which is what the camera button is. That tells you a lot about what the gameplay's like. You will either like this or you won't. Yes. You'll either like it or you won't. It's the kind of game that the run button is the camera. Just sums it up quite well. Alright, so we got a locked door. We're going in. All kinds of cool stuff here to read. You might see some familiar faces. Yep. Yep. This might be familiar. Anybody know what that is? I'm sure you do. Or if you don't, I'm sure plenty of opportunity to learn. Go check it out. His uncle was keeping those under his bed. Weird. Alright, let's see what we got. We got this. What do you think that is? I'll take that. Here's a letter. Abnormal body shape, no symmetrical shape that could define a logical form. Asymmetrical mouths all over its body. Whirling and injured and seemingly forgotten, it's been 27 days since we were here and came across something that our minds still cannot comprehend. How could such a thing exist? How does a god justify this act? How can he allow such monsters to roam upon his creation? My mind is terrorized a million times as I try to visualize this beast. My hand is shaking as I draw each line. It is a plague of the mind. I decided to give it a name, the monster with 1,000 mouths. It may seem strange, but I heard a voice, or more like a whisper in my ears that shivers down my spine. We got a key. You guys hear that eerie sound? Let's go see what that is. That eerie sound. Ooh, this coin is warm. Strange. Let's look through this. Did you guys see that? Man, I forgot how good this game is. The feeling that you have in this game.
Those uneducated fools. They won't let me write for them. They're all fishermen with dirty, scuffed clothes and smell horrible. Their beards reek of alcohol and spit comes out when they talk. I'd rather stay another 4 hours at this point and take care of the problematic mechanisms of this handcrafted construct. Do not regret this journey. It's certainly made life more interesting since then. Not to mention the view from up here. All of the hatred, misery, and sadness of mankind fade away into the line the sea and the sky collide. There's no room there.
That guy may look familiar. Look at this.
I swear I saw something towards the horizon. Behind the mist. It wasn't a whale or a great white shark. Its many legs stretched 100 feet, submerging its body into the sea. It crawled as if it was infected by 1,000 parasites. From its tentacle mouth, it spit out black, disgusting, and disfigured blob-like figures. The moment they fell into the sea, they swam away faster than a dolphin. As the mist kept rising, I could barely see the creature. That wasn't a good sign. I should start placing those talismans I found at the bottom of the lighthouse around the pathways we made.
There you go. I couldn't seem to get out of that one. I had to do a little button trick, but I got out. You guys hear the sounds now. Seems more serious. Our key worked. Okay, we crouched.
How do they manage to let him die in here?
What made them forsake their civil ways?
Picked that up. Oh, I didn't read that one. Sorry. You'll have to read that on your playthrough. See the handprints here. I can't get through there. It has been long enough that I can't quite remember every little thing here. I do remember the ending is pretty ethereal. It's just one of those things that leaves you sweating, wondering what you just watched. All right, let's do this. Oh, I can't do this. I thought I had the right thing for that, but apparently not. Maybe it's one of these other paths. I mean, if I could have my wishes, I would probably wish for the people that made this game to... Yeah, that's the thing.
Proceed into the pit. There's something I would like to show you.
What is that voice? Get out of my head.
If I had my pick, I would let these guys have full reign of the Call of Cthulhu franchise or something like that, and let them really take a crack at a game that has this feeling with RPG elements, not in the walkabout genre. I do think that this particular game, Walkabout, is really, really good for it, and it gets that feeling, and I think that you could make a game that utilizes a lot of walkabout as an RPG, not too much interaction, but I would like to see what these guys could do completely unhinged and cut loose with resources at their hands. Yeah.
Monolith is the key of this island. Break it free.
And in case you couldn't tell, there was no choice in the matter right there. You go and do it. Yeah, there it is. Left bumper is run. I don't know exactly to what extent, because I don't feel a lot faster, but I can definitely tell there's a difference. Okay, that's turning. It's cool too because you're on an island that looks, you know, like a rocky island. But it's almost passable that your character in this story would go and touch these things at the behest of this voice. It doesn't seem completely impossible that you would do that. Like, it gives you that, even though you're on a island, it gives you that feeling of, like, kind of like Scorn. Like, you're in an alien place, and you don't know what anything does, so you touch it. Alright, our portal's gone.
the eyes of a god, like a dream and a flash of light. Beware the existence of mind, and grasp time in your conscious mind.
And look at this, guys. This game. Are you looking at this?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. This isn't even the craziest thing. You see, this is what they were willing to spoil in the spoilers. Or in the trailers. I mean, you saw this thing in the trailers. That's how crazy this game gets. And I'll say there is more intensity than just walking around like this. Later on, much more intensity, for sure. But if you want a shooter, if you want, you know, portal puzzle solving, stuff like that, not this game. But if you want to feel like you're in a Lovecraft novel, this is the one. Dagon was cool because it followed verbatim the book. Or the story, which was really cool. But this one, you're in it. And I think on the other side of this portal is probably going to be the scoring. Let's see. Hey, I was right. Here's what I think. You want to know what I think? I don't think we need to talk about it. I'm going to give it a 5 on lore. It might not be, it is Lovecraft. We saw Elder Things. We see Cthulhu. We see, there was so much, I don't even know what we saw.
Yeah, you can't.
We saw Dagon. We saw,
There was nothing that we
Deep
saw
Ones.
that wasn't
It
Lovecraft.
was all either Lovecraft lore or Lovecraft adjacent.
Yeah.
Aesthetic, 5. This is the bar for Lovecraftian aesthetic.
Yeah.
This game sets the bar. No questions. No questions at all. Gameplay, I am going to put a 3 on the screen. And I think this is where we can talk, maybe. Would you like to talk to me?
Sure.
I think it's a 3 because I think that it is a walkabout, which in itself is not the best game genre.
Okay.
Okay, some people will say it is the best game genre, but on the whole, I think if you measured against everyone, a walkabout would actually be lower. They have a place. Most people would not say my favorite game to play every night is a walkabout.
Okay.
Right?
Mhm.
And that doesn't mean that there aren't good walkabouts because, and there are some that are walkabout plus. Like I would call Among Trees a walkabout plus.
Mhm.
It's a survival game, it's a crafting game, but at its core, it's about walking around in a beautiful environment.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if I was measuring it only against walkabouts, it would be a 5 or a 4. If I was measuring against Lovecraft walkabouts, I give it a 5. But I think that any amount of other things to do in the game would be awesome. Do I think that they would distract from its obvious strength? Maybe. Because, like, imagine that monolith is walking by and then you're like, ooh, look, or clink, 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 clink. Immediately that thing just becomes less important.
Mhm.
And that's the purpose. But I don't know. I feel like it's not fair to give the game a great score on gameplay because it is just a sandbox environment to walk around in.
I mean, yeah, it depends on what your definition of how you're reviewing the gameplay. If you're reviewing the gameplay is just how well did the game function and play, or are you rating the gameplay on?
No, is it a good game? I mean, that's our
Yeah.
gameplay rating.
Yeah.
It functionally it's a 5 out of 5. I mean, there's a, occasional little oddity, but it's so easy to overcome because there's so few inputs that it's not a problem. No, but like from a fun factor, I would say it's not a fun game to play. It is a fun game to experience because of the lore and the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not a fun game to actually play because there's 4 buttons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. But my goodness, it's a good game.
Yeah.
It's so good. The feeling.
It's like
I have a knot right here after watching that part that I knew pretty much exactly what was going to happen. I still have a little bit of a knot here by seeing that, because as someone that reads and watches Lovecraft stuff, that's it. That's one of those nightmare scenarios where you're shipwrecked on an island
mm-hmm.
with cosmic horrors that you can't understand.
Yeah.
And it just tells you what to do, and you do it because it told you so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the like the name Walkabout game. I don't, it doesn't do it justice, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it should have a different genre, title, name, or whatever. It's like a VR audiobook. I don't know.
This game is in VR too.
Is it in VR?
It is in VR.
Oh my goodness.
I played it on Steam Deck also. So it's I think it's Steam Deck certified now. I played it on Steam Deck before it was Steam Deck certified, so it was a little hitchy, but with the gyro, just like I talked about Dagon, on the gyro, you're looking around the environment and you're just that much more immersed. So with VR, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm getting a little bit goosebumpy about that. But you're right. The title Walkabout, or a walking sim, it's almost degrading.
It is.
A walking sim. In fact, the first time I heard walking sim, I thought it was a cut down. I think I heard it for this game, actually, which might be weird that I had never heard it before, but somebody said this game is a walking sim, and I immediately went, oh. Yeah. And then I went, wait a second, I don't know what a walking sim actually is. I thought they were saying it was boring.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's a degrading
negative connotation.
It does.
It doesn't do it justice.
And I think maybe that's because, okay, we've got some games. We've got a racing sim. We've got a cooking sim. We've got a lifestyle sim. And then we have a walking sim.
Yeah.
Even against lifestyle sim and cooking sim,
you'd pick that over.
You'd still pick that over the walking sim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should be like environmental sim, or I mean, even like this. I would say,
like,
I would say this is an interactive story.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
But from a gameplay perspective, it's clearly different than Dagon.
Yeah.
In the way that it tells the story, and I think that's what separates it. But in a lot of ways, it's the same. It's just a little more experience and a little less like reading than Dagon has.
From what I remember and the little bit that I've seen from when you did play, because I didn't see a ton of it, but I did see some, it doesn't have like objectives, right? Like, you're legitimately just I mean, there's things that you can do, but it doesn't be like, it's not like, click this thing, okay, now that you click this thing, go do this thing.
No, it's linear. It's very linear. But that's another way that it's a good walking sim, is it is a linear game that tells you where to go, but it never gives you any kind of on-screen like arrow or anything like that. So like what happened there, I don't know if you saw, because I know you were playing, but I walked up to a thing. It had a spot where something clearly went. It didn't say anything. I just walked up to it and I couldn't click on it. and behind it there's a pathway.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I will get a thing and I'll go, oh, that thing clearly goes in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And the game will naturally lead me back to that open area, and I'll have been everywhere but to that spot, and then I will put the thing on the thing, and the thing will do the thing, and then I'll be able to go to the place.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so even like the end of the game, there's like so much going on, but it's very clear that you just keep going forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's a testament to how good that game is, because you rarely get lost or anything.
Yeah.
I do remember there was one frustrating part that was a little hard to figure out. I think it was some tunnels from what I remember. But again, figured it out.
Yeah.
It just led you through. I would say, like, this game's length, price, and quality makes it an absolute must play for any Lovecraft fan.
Yeah.
I think that if you, even if you are not a video gamer, if you can pick up a controller and click a couple buttons and it not make you seasick and not make you frustrated, you should play this game, because it is just a Lovecraft experience in the form of a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super recommend. Super recommend. I can't believe I haven't done it until now. I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go play it some more. Happy Halloween.